Everyone, I am Najma Sahar, lecturer in Business Studies, Vishwamana PU College, Chitradurga. Dear student, in last videos we have seen about the private as well as the public sector. In private sector, we already discussed in your second chapter. And coming to the public sector, in last videos we have seen regarding the public sectors and forms of business, public sectors, like departmental undertakings, statutory corporation or public corporation, government companies, that we have seen in a previous videos. In today's session, we shall discuss one more important concept of your syllabus is called global enterprise. Global enterprise is also known as MNCs. MNCs stands for multinational corporation. Multinational corporation or multinational companies, you can say, or in simple words we can say international business. So this global enterprise took birth early of 1860. In early of 1816, the MNCs have been started. They started working as the MNCs. They started operating as the MNCs in the year 1860. But after the World War II, the importance of MNCs or global enterprise has been drastically changes. The importance has been increased. These global enterprises or the MNCs plays a very important role in the development of an economy as well as the development of a country. As these global enterprises or MNCs will have huge capital outlay, they will have a advanced technology and they will have a latest management skills, managerial skills and developments, strategies. They will have a different, what we can say, latest research and development, and they will have first and very important thing is the size of MNCs will be large. Because of that, they place or their contribution in the development of country or in increasing the GDP of a country is very much. It's very high. That is why these global enterprises or MNCs plays a very vital role in the development of our economy or in the development of our country. Now let us discuss what exactly the global enterprises are MNCs, or you can say international business. So in simple words we can say a multinational corporation owns and manages business in 2 or more countries. Global, the word itself says multi, number of. The word itself says that you are doing your business, you are carrying out your business not only in your country, apart from your country, you are also doing your business in other nations, in other country. Such business will be termed as a global business or international business, we will say. So multi-corporation owns and manages the business in 2 or more countries is called as a global enterprises or global business, we will say. So global enterprises is nothing but in simple words we can say their operation, business operations will be done. They will carry out their business operation in several nations, in several countries. Such business will be called as a global enterprises. So business operations will be carried out in several is nothing but in different countries is called as a MNCs or global enterprise. You can write this one or this, you can write this one. Or you can also understood by this sentence, global enterprises or global corporations or multinational companies are those companies which produce and which distributes the goods and services in different nations, in different countries. That is called as a global enterprise. So here 2 important things you have to remember. The first one is home country as well as the host country. Home country and host countries. Two important things you have to remember here. Home country in the sense your country, domestic nation. Okay, like for example, India is our home country. Host country is nothing but with whom we are having the relationship, business relationship. That is what we say opponent party. Opponent country is called as a host country. Other nations, say for example USA. Okay, this is what the home country and host country. Okay, now let us discuss the features of Now let us discuss the characteristics or the nature of global enterprise or MNCs. Okay, so as I told you, the international business or MNCs will help you not only to bring the new product, that is what we say, it is not only improve the standard of living of a country, but also it will generate the employment opportunity as well as it contributes to the development of our nation or development of our country. There are certain characteristics are there which will help you to understand in depth about the global enterprises. The first one is huge capital resources. As I told you, this business, okay, this global enterprises business is in a huge, it is a very huge business. The size of this business will be huge, okay, it will be large, and it will have a capital, huge capital resources, okay, it is a capital intensive, okay, it is a capital intensive as well as it will have a large capital outlay, okay. This enterprises is characterized by having huge capital resources. These MNCs are able to raise the capital from the general public by issuing the equity shares, preference shares, dividends, okay, other bonds, okay. By issuing the different financial papers, they can raise the capital from the general public. Not only from that, they can also get the loan from the financial institutions and other financial sectors, okay. That is what banks and financial institutions, they are in a position to get the loan from the financial institution. So they not only raise the capital from their country, that is what from their home country, but also they are in a position to raise the capital from the host country. Host country in the sense in other country they can raise the capital. That position they will have, that authority they will possess. Because of that, these global enterprises can survive in almost all the circumstances, okay. They are going to continue their business, okay, for more number of years, okay, a number of years they are going to survive their business. That is what huge capital resources. Simple words we can say, this global enterprises is characterized by the huge capital resources. Huge capital resources, okay, they can raise the financial or they can raise the amount from the public by issuing the equity shares, okay, by issuing the debentures, okay. From various sources they can raise the amount, and even from the financial institution. They collect the amount or fund for their business not only from their own country but also from the other nations or from other country. They are in a position to raise the capital for the business. Because of their large size, okay, because of the huge capital resources, these companies, these MNCs are in a position to survive in almost all the circumstances. In almost all the situations, they are in a position to stand still. That is what we say, huge capital resources. Next one is foreign collaboration. These global enterprises usually enter the contract or enter into the agreement with the other countries, okay. They may enter agreement with the public sector or with the private sector companies, okay. They will enter the agreement or the contract with the other countries, okay, other countries companies, okay, like the agreements like sale of goods and services, use of technology, use of brand, okay, pricing, technology, relating to everything will be mentioned in their agreement, okay. Before collaborating your business with MNCs, first of all you have to read carefully regarding the agreement, okay, regarding the technology, regarding the price, regarding the dividend payment, okay, tight control by the foreign technologies, etc. Everything should be will be there in the agreement. After having understanding, after having the consent with the foreign countries, you can enter into agreement with the foreign companies or MNCs, okay. By foreign collaboration, you can go, okay, means Indian companies can have their product at an international level, okay. They can stand with the international and they will enlarge, they will diversify their products and brand at an international level through the collaboration. Collaboration in the sense having agreement with the another companies, other countries companies, okay. That is what we say foreign collaboration. Next one is advanced technology. These enterprises, usually MNCs, will possess a high technology, okay. It possesses technology superiorities in their product as well as the process, okay, in the development of their product as well as in the method of their production. That is what we say method or process. In these two areas, they will have a sophisticated or they will have a technological superiority over the other countries, okay. Because of that, they will have an advantage, okay. They will usually, these companies are capital intensive, they are highly automated, okay. They use computers and technologies in the process of production. Because of that, they meet the international level of standards, okay, international standards as well as the quality specification. This is what advanced technology. So the next characteristics is product innovation. Innovation in the sense newness, discovering something. Third characteristics, that is what the fourth characteristics of your global enterprises is product innovation. Product innovation is nothing but which is unique. Your product and your goods and services will be distinct, okay, which is unique from the another person, another company, okay. So that is what we say innovation, discovering something new. That is what we say innovation. These MNCs are characterized by the highly innovative as well as highly sophisticated research and development department. That is what we say R&D department, okay. They will have a separate department called research and development department. That department task, that department work is to search for new, okay, new searches, okay, producing or launching the new products or modifying the existing product or designing the existing product, okay. This department usually collects the latest information and they will also have a qualitative research. In order to do the research and development, huge investment will be there, okay. That only possible from the MNCs because they will have a large capital outlay. They will spend much of their amount in a research and development. Because of that, their product and their services will be unique and distinctive. Next one is marketing. The feature of global enterprises is marketing strategy. So marketing strategy is nothing but the marketing strategies of global companies or multinational companies are more effective than the other companies, okay. They use the marketing, aggressive marketing strategy, aggressive marketing strategies. They use aggressive marketing strategies in order to increase the sale. In order to increase the sale, they use this strategy, okay. Aggressive strategy in the sense, the aggressive marketing strategy will says that it aims at building the relationship with the prospective customers or consumer, strengthening the relationship with the prospective consumers by giving the relevant information. By giving time to time information to the customer, they will build the close relationship with the company as well as with the customers. Okay, that is what we say aggressive marketing strategy. And this leads to the increasing in their sales over a shorter period of time. Over the shorter period of time, they will increase their sale. And these global companies will also have a reliable as well as the up-to-date information system, and their advertisement method, their promotional technique is more effective or much effective than the other companies. Because of that, they stand in a international level. That is what marketing strategy. Next one is expansion of market territories. So as the meaning itself says that the global companies, they are going to operate more than one country. So they will not only sell their goods and services within their nation or within their country, but also they will sell their goods and services, they will render their services apart from their country to another country. So the physical boundaries, whatever the territories will be there, that will be expanded. Means what here, our goods and services we are sending to the another nation. That is what we say expansion. Next one is centralized control. Centralized control in the sense they have their headquarters. Okay, headquarters. Okay, these MNCs will have their headquarters in home country, that is in their nation. In their nation, they will have a headquarters, okay, which will control its subsidiary, which are situated in a different other nations, okay, which are situated in a different host countries, okay. So the headquarter of the MNCs will be started in their home country. This head department will control the subsidiaries or will control the branches of the companies which are located in the different nations. Okay, they will not have the host countries, companies will not interfere much into the controls of a headquarter. Whatever the parents will say, they will obey. That is what we say headquarter. The home country's company is nothing but the parent company. Whatever the parent will decide, that they are going to follow. They will not involve much. They will not interfere the day-to-day activities or day-to-day operation. That is what centralized control. Huge capital resources, foreign collaboration, advanced technology, product innovation, marketing strategy, expansion, as well as the centralized control. Okay, the size of these companies will also very large. These are the characteristics or the features of global companies. Now let us discuss about the joint venture. One more concept is joint venture. Joint venture. Okay. As you all know that we have different forms of companies like private companies, public companies, government companies. We have different form of companies. If the business wants or if business desires to join a hand with another companies, it may be with the private companies or it may be with the public or it may be with the government companies. They can join their hands for the mutual benefit. Is called as a joint stock companies. Say for example, A and B company limited. Okay, this is a company. Okay, this is one of the company, and it wants to join the hand with the C and D company limited. Okay, if they both desires, if this both company wants to join a hand, they can, by having the agreement between two, they can come together and they will form a new company, A, B, C, D company limited. Okay. Likewise, they can form a company, that is what we say joint venture. So, the joint venture is a business partnership. It is a business partnership between two or more individuals or partnership firm or companies for a specific purpose. For a specific purpose, both the companies, two or more than two companies, they will join a hand with the companies for a mutual benefit or for a common purpose, that is called as a joint venture. So, joint venture is a business partnership. It is a partnership, business partnership or venture partnership between two or more individuals, say for example A and B, they wants to join with the C and D. Okay, likewise it may be with the individuals, or it may be with the partnership firms, or the owner joining their business with the companies. It may be a private company, public company, or government company, whatever it may be. With whomever you want to join a hand, you can join. Okay, the joining or the purpose behind joining is for a specific purpose, for mutual benefit of both. Simply you cannot join, okay, for your betterment or for one single party betterment. You are not going to join the hand. It should be a mutual benefit for both the parties should derive a benefit from your collaboration. That is what we say joint venture. The common purpose may be, the specific purpose may be expansion of your business. It may be increasing your sale or increasing the profit. Okay, you want to grow your business at international level. These are the purpose behind joining hands with the companies or with the firms. Okay, first main purpose is avoid risk. In order to reduce the risk, you may join. Or in order to have a managerial skill as well as the funds, capital requirement or financial support, you can join. Or in order to increase the sale of your business, you can join. To avoid the competition, so in order to avoid the competition among yourself in one country, you can also go for the joint venture. Okay, before going for the joint venture, you will have a agreement, you will have a contract. In contract, everything details will be there. Okay, you have to study it in depth. Okay, in order to reduce the conflicts or in order to overcome the misunderstanding. Okay, in detail you have to make an agreement with the person with whom you want to join a hand for the business purpose. So this is the joint venture. So joint venture is nothing but two or more business. Okay, two or more firms. They are coming together, they are joining together in order to start a new business. Okay, or they will have some specific purposes, some specific objective, that is called as a joint venture. Now let us discuss the joint venture types. So here are the types of joint venture. So the joint venture has been broadly categorized into two types. One is contractual, another one is equity based. So under contractual, we will have a cooperation, agreements and strategic alliances. Okay, here we are not going to start a new business. Instead, we are asking for the support, we are asking for the help. That is what we say contractual base. For a specific period, you will have a agreement with the another companies. This is what a contractual. Another one is equity based. Equity based means what? You are making an investment, okay, with the companies, with the limited liability partnership and a partnership firm. With these companies, you are making an investment. So now let us discuss in detail one by one what is contractual joint venture and what is equity based joint venture. Here are the types of joint venture. The first one is a contractual joint venture. Under the contractual joint venture, a newly jointly owned venture, that is newly entity, joint owned entity or business is not created, but instead there is a agreement. There is only agreement to work together. There is only an agreement between the companies. So here they are not going to create a new business or they are not going to start a new business, but instead they will have an agreement with the companies to work together. So A and B, they are not going to start a new company, but instead they both are going to continue the existing work by having a contract, by having the agreement. So here under the contractual joint venture, the parties to the agreement, okay, the parties to the agreement, they will not have any ownership in a business. Okay, both the parties will not have ownership of a business, but instead they can exercise some control. Okay, they can control the business operation but not but they are not become a owners of a business. Okay, so here are the certain elements which are there here. Two or more parties have a common intention. The common intention is nothing but running a business entity, running a business venture. That is what their common intention. Next one is each party brings some input. Both the parties A and B, they both will bring something. Something is nothing but they both will contribute capital, technology, resources. What is essential for running a business, successful business, they both will contribute. Next one is both the parties can exercise some control, but they are not the owners of a business, but they will exercise some extent. Okay, control can be exercised in a business. Usually this type of contract will be lost for the longer period of time, but not for the shorter period of time. So this is what the contractual. The name itself says contractual. It is purely based upon the contract. It is purely based upon the agreement. That's it. Okay. It will not have any ownership. Ownership will not there. New business you are not going to start. Just you are going to running the existing business, continuing the existing venture by contributing something. That is what we say contractual joint venture. So the next one is the next type is equity based joint venture. So EJV, in short form we say EJV. EJV. Okay. First one is contractual joint venture. Another one is equity based joint venture. So under equity based joint venture, what happens? Equity joint venture agreement is one in which a separate business entity jointly owned by two or more parties is formed in accordance with the agreements of parties. So here what happens? A new business is created, okay, by having the agreement between the two persons or two parties. So by agreeing two parties, they will start a new business. So equity joint venture is an agreement. It is a contract in which a separate business entity, a separate venture is created jointly by two or more parties. By two or more parties, what they will do? They will start a new company. That is what ABC company. So A is a person, A is a one party, B is another party. These two, by having an agreement between these two parties, they will start a new business venture called AB company. That is what? A separate business entity owned by two or more parties is formed in accordance with the agreement of a parties, in accordance with their will, in accordance with their desire to start a new business, they will start a new business. So the main characteristics of the main important operative force in the equity based joint venture is they will share the ownership. Both the party will have a ownership over the venture. So here ownership by the party is involved. So here there must be agreement. Agreement is here compulsory. Contract is compulsory. Agreement to create a new entity. New entity are joined into the existing. Join into the ownership of one more entity. Ownership of one party, or you can say existing business. Okay, here what happens under equity based joint venture? What happens? You share equally ownership. You will share the ownership. Okay, next one is there must be a contract to create a new entity. Either you can create a new business or you can start a new business, or any one party can join the existing entity. Say for example, A and B, they both having the different business. Okay, so by joining, they can start a new business. Okay, they can start a new business called ABC company. Or what can is A. A will become a partner of A company. So that is what B will become a partner of A company, and he will become a owner of that particular company by investing in their equity shares. That is what there may be agreement to create, either to create new entity or join the ownership of existing entity. And so here there will be a jointly, they share the profit and losses equally. They will share and they will manage the business. They will have a control over the business equally. There is no differences between the two parties. Okay. So here the equity based joint venture must be based upon, this must be based upon memorandum of understanding, MOU. Based upon the MOU, that is stands for memorandum of understanding. So both the parties to the agreement, they should have a clear understanding. They should have a they should agree to the contract and they can enter into the contract. Okay, so there should be understanding between the parties relating to the terms and conditions, relating to the negotiation, so that in future case there should be no problem or there should be no conflicts. Okay, the culture of a party, okay, the social background of the party should be considered while going for equity based joint venture. So equity based joint venture is nothing but it is an agreement in which a separate business entity is created jointly. Okay, here separate business will be created jointly according to the agreement, according to the consent of a parties. So here both the parties will become a owner of a business. There must be agreement to create a new business or to carry forward the existing business by involving one more party as a owner to the business. They share the profit and losses. They will share the duties and responsibilities equally. So this equity based joint venture will be based upon the memorandum of understanding. So this memorandum of understanding clearly states, clearly defines the powers and duties, authorities and responsibilities of each partner. Before going for equity based joint venture, the social as well as the cultural background of the party should be considered, so that you can avoid the conflicts which arises in a future course of days. So these are the joint venture and the types of joint venture. There are the certain benefits of going for joint venture businesses. So by going for the joint ventures or collaboration with the another companies, you will have a different types of benefits, different categories of benefits. Okay, you can increase your brand name, you can expand your business, increase your sale. Okay, you will have a large scale of resources. There are extremely benefit for the both the parties involved in a joint venture. So there are certain merits, there are certain benefits for joint venture, for opting for the joint venture business. So for the first benefit is increase the resources and capacity. So here by joining hands with the companies, with one another, you can increase your resources as well as the capacity to produce the goods and services and distribute the goods and services. Okay, so it not only increase your resources, it may be a financial resource or it may be a human resources, but you are in a capacity, but you are in a position to face the new challenges which arises in a business environment, which arises in a market. That is what increased resources and capacity. When you are joining with the another person, automatically your strength will increase. Whatever he will have, you can use it. Whatever he have, he can use it. That is what A and B. For example, you can say A, he is very good at his managerial skill. B, he is having the capital, more capital he will possess. If both the parties will join, automatically they can blossom in the market. They can exploit any opportunity available in the market. That is what we say, increased resources and capacity. Next one is access to the new markets and distribution network. When you have a joint venture with the another companies, then automatically there is a expansion in your boundaries. Okay, when foreign countries entered the agreement with the Indian companies, automatically their markets, new markets they are going to exploit, as well as the distribution network will also expand it. Okay, take for example, whatever the goods and services which are reducing, the demand for the goods and services which are reducing in your country, in India, the same goods and services can be sold, can be distributed to the another country where there is a demand for those goods and services. This can be happened when we go for the joint venture, which leads to the access to the new market. Okay, you are selling your goods and services to the new customers, new countries market, as well as you will have a distribution channels. Distribution channels is nothing but channels of selling your goods and services. Next one is access to technology. So the main intention for going for the joint venture is to have a technological access. Nothing but to have a advanced technology and produce the superior quality of goods and services. When you have a sophisticated advanced technology, automatically your cost of production will be reduces and you will produce the quality of goods and services. When you go for the joint venture for the technology, okay, there are many joint venture based upon the technology, based upon the use of patents and copyrights. Okay, so technology, when you go for the joint venture, you need not to invest much of your time, much of your investment on the technology. That is what access to technology. You can have a update and advanced technology. Next one is innovation. So nowadays, consumers, customers, the demand for the new products, creative products has been increased. Okay, the demand for the new product has been increased. Because of that, you are in a position, if you collaborate with the new business, another country's company, automatically you can meet the demand of your existing customers. That is what innovation. Next one is low cost of production. Low cost of production is nothing but when you are producing the goods and services, when the international production, when the international corporation invest in India, they will get the immense benefit, number of benefits they will get due to the lower in a cost of production. So in India, so usually many of the foreign countries, they prefer to invest in India, they prefer to start their business in India because of the low cost of production. In India, they will get the cheaper rate of labors, okay, cheaper rate of raw materials, okay, professions, okay, skills management, everything will be available at low cost when we compare to their country. Because of that, the majority of the foreign nations, foreign countries, they prefer to invest in India because of the low cost of production. Next one is established brand name. So here, when you go for the joint venture, you need not to worry about the brand name, building of your goodwill, because when one party is already very good, already have a good name in the market, another party need not to worry about the goodwill. Okay, he need not to invest much of his time in developing or building the brand name of the product of the company, because another company is already very popular in the market. So that is what established brand name. So these are the few benefits of going for a joint venture. So here is an assignment for you people. Okay, it is apart from your textbook, you will have assignment. First assignment is you have to list out, you have to collect the names of top 10 Indian companies. Okay, top 10 Indian companies, you have to collect their name and along with the CEOs of the company. The next assignment is list out the top 10 MNC companies, multinational companies, you have to list there, okay, which are operating in India, and Indian companies which are operating abroad, you have to collect it, and you have to collect the examples of those companies who opt for the joint venture business, okay, who opt for the joint venture business. Next one is examples for the equity based joint venture. So I have avoided the examples while teaching. Okay, you have to give the examples for the equity based joint venture as well as the the business who have opt for the joint venture business. So this is the assignment for you. You have to send to me. Okay. Thank you.